This beat is mine. You can have it. Just party down and do what you wanna do. But do that dance. Can you feel it a thumping? It controls your feet. It's party music, so we all can free.
Well, hello there.
Dance. Oh, clap your
Welcome to another special edition of Ibiza Vinyl Stories, hosted by the Ibiza Vinyl Club and yours truly, Mr. Peach.
Listen up, just
We are live and direct on Ibiza Sonica, 95.2 FM Ibiza and Formentera, live on DAB, and we are streaming live on the Ibiza Sonica app. So if you've not downloaded it, get it downloaded, because today we've got German techno superhero JENS LISSAT in the studio with us, and we're going to be having a deep dive into his crate and finding out really what drives him and his passion for music. Jens, come and say hello to the people.
Hello, everybody out there on the island, on the magic white island, and around the world.
Thank you for coming in to join us today, bro. Welcome to Ibiza.
Yes. Yes. Hola.
Yeah,
¿Qué tal?
Muy bien, ¿y tú? Tu español es muy bueno, eh?
I'm trying to learn, so it's not so easy, but yo habla más que yo entiendes más que yo hablo.
Yeah, como siempre. Yeah. Yo soy el mismo. You've not been on the island for very long. We met in February, right?
Yes, yeah, I'm here since January, and I was here last year. And my first time was here in 1984. When I was I discovered when I was very young, and that was the year when this track was out. People from Ibiza.
Ah, yeah.
So from Sandy Martin. This was my first time to the discos like Coup and to Amnesia and Pacha, and there were other clubs which doesn't exist anymore. But it was this was a very long time ago. So yeah, beautiful.
Cool. And you've been coming to and from the island in this magnificent 40-year DJing career that you've got.
Yeah, 45.
45 years.
45 years. Yeah. This year 45. I started when I was 15. So you can guess. I'm 61 now. So I have decades of music which I was living in. Like I started with disco, and today we have some disco and like disco and funky music. What we start off, and later then in the 80s it started off with funk. Then there came Italo disco, high energy. Then the first house music in '86. Which came to Germany, So I went to, it's a long story, but I went to New York City. I listened to Tony Humphries and Kiss FM 98.7 master mixes, and I was like, ooh, what the fuck are they playing on the radio? And I went to the record store the next day. I want some music, what they played last night. Yeah, I have all this stuff here. Many at Vinyl Mania, was reselling the records, and I brought house music to Germany.
Amazing. What a story. And that was in 86?
86, yeah.
Wow, so you're responsible for bringing the house music from New York to Germany. Wow, this is a big deal. Look at what the house music the scene is like these days.
Yeah, and then in 1987, I started my first German house music production.
Okay, cool. And what was up?
This was JMJ and Hardy Work the House Sound.
Oh, right.
It was like a clone of Farley's Trackmaster Funk, Love Can Turn Around,
Oh, nice. And have you still got a copy of that to this day?
What, pardon?
Do you still have a copy of that to this day?
I have, but I don't have it with me. I have it at home. Yeah, I have it in Germany. Yeah.
Okay, excellent. I can't wait to hear that. So can you tell the listeners what you've opened up with today? What's this track in the background?
Yes, the track she's playing was Vicky D, and it was This Beat Is Mine, and the next one which is gonna come is a classic from the Paradise Garage from the famous DJ Larry Levan. It's gonna be the Frontline Orchestra with Walking on Sunshine.
Okay, let's listen. such a beautiful track. Listen to the lyrics in this. They don't make them like they used to, do they? Okay, gents. So, what have you brought with you today? What records have you got in your box?
Well, today, I tell you a funny story because we met in February on the vinyl supermarket in San Antonio, and I was trying to buy some, find out the prices of the record, and then this guy who was there, hey, this is the owner, you can talk to this guy, and then you came to me and say, hey, I'm Peach and blah 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 and blah blah blah, and I said, yeah, we are doing vinyl parties here on Ibiza. I say, okay, I have still some vinyls left at home. I had 50,000 records in my life.
50,000 records.
50,000 vinyls collected since 1978, but I sold most of them. The only thing I kept for myself is the funk and the disco classics, which were my favorites. I kept them. So today, when we met, you asked me, yeah, you can play on the vinyl party. So when on my last gig in Germany in the festival in March, I went through my record collection, collected picked 100 records in my trolley and brought them to Ibiza. So today is almost about some real funky classics, some disco and some house classics.
Amazing. That's such a pleasure that you've got this beautiful little collection of funk and soul disco classics out of 50,000 records. I can't even imagine what that looks like. Where did you put 50,000 records?
It was, they were not all together all the time, So when I started as a 14-year-old kid, the first 12-inch in 1978. My first 12-inch, by the way, was Giorgio Moroder, The Chase.
Right.
It was already electronic music with synthesizer and sequencing. And the second, I bought two records, two 12-inches. And the other one was from Two Man Sound, Guitar America. And then I started collecting, and I found out that there were imports. So I was born in Hamburg, Germany. And so I bought the German 12 inches, which were half the price of an imported 12-inch from the States. So and then the record collection was growing and growing and growing. And in my parents' house, we had a normal house, but 3 rooms in the cellar were mine, and my my little apartment was there. And then it went on and on and on, and then I sold some records again, and then I collected. I was selling, collecting, and selling. And the main part of the collections was around 2000. I sold 30,000 to people I met in an advertisement. There was no Facebook, but there were these things like Marketplace, and there and the people came from England, from Belgium, from Netherlands, from Germany, from the south, from the north. They came and picked boxes out of my house, So it was, I was, I had a lot of promotional records. When you were as a DJ, you have got these promotional records. So the record industry gave you music which they wanted to play you, So there was a lot of crap.
Yeah.
But anyway, everything was sold.
And people walking out of your house with boxes. Did the customers come to dig through and rummage, or were you just selling them boxes by boxes?
There was one guy one guy bought 20,000. He was not coming to my house. He said, "Put me in the boxes." So, and then I went. Every day I went to the supermarket to get to the banana boxes, where when South America, when they deliver, and in one banana box you had 120 records. So I went every day for months, and went to the UPS to deliver them to Munich, they're crazy.
What? So 20,000 records
Yes.
in banana boxes?
Yes.
Hand-picked, hand-delivered.
Really, I was months sending this guy these records, and he was happy to sell them. I was a reseller maybe, They were about 3 to 10 euros. I said this box is for €3 for a piece of record, and then the other now there comes inclusive ones. They are 10 euros, and it was German marks still in 2000. Yeah,
Amazing.
crazy.
Right. So out of all of those records that have been through your life, what was it about the funk and the soul that made you want to keep holding on to
I
it?
tell you, because the thing is, when I was maybe I start the next record because we have a special one also. One of my favorites back then, Grace Jones, Pull Up to the Bumper, also garage classic.
All right, let's hear it. Seamless. Grace Jones original being played from the Larry Levan collection, owned by JENS LISSAT, German techno DJ hero. As he's searching for another record, a quick plug for our event tomorrow, Ibiza Vinyl Market at Kumaras, episode 2 of season 2. JENS is going to be doing a very special sunset selection from 8 until 10 p.m. Watching the sun goes down, setting the sun, setting the soundscape with his amazing collection of funk, soul and disco. And house. So this is really cool, gents, that you're going to be playing tomorrow. Thank you for coming on board on this.
We were talking about I'm a fan of funk and disco. You know, when I was, I told you that I bought my first 12 inches in 1978, and I started with disco music. And if you are a little boy, you know, this is the music from your heart. You know, I have most of these tracks in my head. I even can sing along with them because I have the lyrics. When you study, when you're young, and you study with the music, what you're doing, you know, you are young and jealous, not jealous here, interesting, and what is this, what is that, and then yeah, this is the music, you know. So also the early 80s funk music, it was hand-played music, you know. The disco music with strings, arrangements, you know, really songs, you know. I run a lot of labels, and we cover a lot of these disco and funk stuff, and we reproduce them, and these melodies, you know, they are, if you can listen still even, you know, these you hear YMCA or whatever, Born to Be Alive these days, you know, even the young kids when they are not this generation. They know these tracks because somewhere on the radio they played the 70s or the 80s. The funky music not that much, but the disco was the last decade of from 77 to 1980. There were so many great tracks, you know, which still are like epic.
Yeah, and there's a lot of resampling going on. Yeah. A lot of samples going on in the modern music and the music that I grew up with. In 1978, I was just being born. How old were you in 1978?
I was 14.
14?
Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah, I remember distinctly my first record, and I've still got that to this day as well. And it was a kind of New York crossover into popular music in the UK. I think it was on PWL. I spoke about it on the show a couple of weeks ago, but yeah, this groove, this soul that's in the music, it stays with you.
Yes.
And do you feel that this helped to shape your musical taste as you grew up as well?
Of course, yes. You know, I told you my first record, The Chase, was sequencer, synthesizer music. With the he worked with the Roland and systems, Georgie Moroder, and with Keith Forsey and Harald Faltermeyer in the studio, and they, you know, he made the track "I Feel Love." You know. By the way, you know, this is one of the basics for techno music, you know, with this 16th sequence. And so I was influenced by that, because later on, when my career, when I became a producer in the late 80s, you know, when I started techno music, you know, I was one of the inventors of techno in Germany in 1990. I did my first techno tracks, because there was still not yet in 1980, in early 1990, the word techno was just, you know, a name, and I made a track called Interactive was the project. It was called the Techno Wave. You know, and I said, okay, this is techno now. Then I kept on going with my production partner Ramon, and we were doing techno. But besides that, you know, the early late 80s, the house music era was huge. You know, when we had the first house records, and it was a beat, you know, constantly around 120 BPM. You could play the whole night house music. You know, it was no more commercial. Like you have to play anything else. That was cool house music from Chicago. Then UK house music was really huge. Then there came the big wave of, you remember, the Summer of Love with acid house music. That's in 1988. Crazy, you know. We made acid parties, and I can tell you stories what we put poppers in the pop machine. All kind of shit, you know. I can tell you so much crazy stories about what happened, you know, back then.
Amazing. And yeah, those are the days of the real free loving, the free summer, right?
Yeah.
There's obviously a lot more restrictions these days, but you must have got up to some right shenanigans. Where in the world has vinyl music taken you?
You know, when I was I was a resident DJ all my life, from not all my life, but I was a resident DJ a lot of until 1991. come now. We're gonna continue now from 1991, and I play the next record, which is also one of my favorites. It's from the band Sky, and it's called Call Me.
Jens, you're a natural. You're going to have my job next week if you want. Such a good vibe. Big shout out to the IVC family joining us on the WhatsApp chat today. Who've we got online? Roberto, hiya bro. Maria Gomez is there. Vicente is also logged on. Steve Calsolini in the UK. Dig. Oh yeah, you're all listening. This is great. D. George is in from Germany. Yeah, man. Donna Sammy. Okay, just change your name, love. Donna's online as well. Roberto says, can you ask Jens to play Chased by Marauder? Have you got that with you?
No, I haven't got it with me, but I have some other. I have the next one, which has a similar bass line to the Chase track from George Moroder. It's a track from 1981. We can just play it out because we are talking very much here, so let's concentrate a little bit on the music. Now I'm gonna mix something for you. Wait 1 second.
Professional old style school mixing. That's like very relevant, mate. Stories by Ibiza Vinyl Club live on 95.2 FM Ibiza Sonica Radio. In the studio today with Jens Lissat.
Don't stop the music. Don't stop.
So as Jens has mentioned, he's going to be DJing with us on his debut tomorrow at Kumaris. You're going to be preparing a beautiful sunset session for us.
Definitely, yeah.
Would you like to let us know what tricks you've got up your sleeve, what you're going to be playing?
No, it's gonna be like a mix between warming up with some really cool funky music, and then we kind of come, because I brought, I told you I only brought 100 records with me, well chosen. What's gonna be cool for playing vinyl session, maybe in one of those sessions, and we start tomorrow at Kumaris, and there gonna be some classics for some really 80s house classics.
Nice.
And,
cool. And when was the last time you played vinyl out in public?
No, we were stuck at the year 1991. So 1991, I was just, this is important, for my life, Then in 1991, I was still resident in a club, so before it came to touring. So 99 was the year when techno went big for me and for the rest of the world. Maybe this was the year where it makes its breakthrough. So me and my Ramon were in the studio, and we had already produced a lot of stuff like house music and a little techno stuff, but it was not really techno that. And then we created a track. I bought a Roland synthesizer in the UK, in London, for very good money. It was a Roland SH101. Where the experts know what it does. It has this famous, wah 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 sound, as a bass sound. So I started, playing around with the synthesizer, and Ramon was preparing something. I was in the synths, and then I was playing with my one finger system, like wah, and then wah, and then wah, 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 wah. And everything cool. Like, Ramon, listen, look, this bass line, wah, 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 wah. And said, okay, let's record this, and then we put on the N909, the Roland drum machine. I played this wah, 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 wah. And then I said, okay, this track needs a vocal. I said, who is Elvis? And then, we recorded Who is Elvis. Then I went to my record collection, sampled Elvis Presley, or it's one for the money. So the track was ready in 5 hours. And then we went, what we gonna do with this track? And then we said, okay, we need to do an own label then. So this was the birth of our techno label, No Respect Records. We released that. We pressed 1,000 records. I gave them to some record stores and to one distribution. And after 1 week, they called us. We need another 1,000 records.
Wow.
And then we created another 1,000, and then we were 10,000 already. Then the record label called us, and we want to sign this. We want to sign your track because it's gonna be big. And then the story is that Who is Elvis made almost 250,000 copies. It was one of the first big techno hits, and then the booking started. The people, the DJ, the party started, the rave party started in Germany because techno became big. You could play everywhere. Everybody wanted to go. Each big ROM discotheque wanted to do techno parties. So and we played there, and then we went overseas. We went to UK and then to Belgium, to Holland. We traveled, and then this was the life. Then I quit my resident DJ job, and techno started.
Wow. So your first creation with that synthesizer in your little studio got 250,000 presses.
Yes.
What? And then that was the seed, that creative seed. Putting it on vinyl, that's kind of led you on this world-changing path.
Yes.
Where you've been sharing your music, playing all over the world. You was at Tomorrowland Festival, right?
Yeah. I played the last 2 years at Tomorrowland, and it was an honor because my friends from Bonsai Records and. I did some productions with them together, and so they are hosting the Bonsai stage in the Rose Garden at Tomorrowland, and I played the last 2 years there, and this year was like only one stage, so they had their Bonsai family resident DJs there, and I play in 2 weeks. I play in the Legacy Festival in Belgium. That's they're doing this big festival on the Silver Nail.
Nice. And so how many people have you played in front of then? Because the images that I've seen of Tomorrowland is just like hundreds of thousands of people.
Yeah, this is the main stage. The main stage is huge. The main stage is held, you can say it's like a football stadium, but there are no seats. But it's like an oval, and you can get 50,000 fit in there. I have no clue, but it looks like a stadium for 50,000. The main stage is wide, like 100 meters wide, approximately. I don't know. I have no meter measures, but it's really huge. This main stage, and it's from all over the world. The people have their flags where the countries where they are from, and that's crazy.
What's it like playing to an audience that size, or being part of it? What's it like to be part of an audience that size, or to play to people so diverse?
It's always like these huge crowd is like goosebumps for the DJ. If you are, I can imagine DJs like the superstars who play every weekend, this festival, they are used to it. But if you are not used to play every weekend, maybe once, twice, or 3 times a year for these big audiences, this gives you really goosebumps because you can see the masses in front of you. In the club, it depends how high the DJ booth is. You have the first 2 rows in front of you and they party with you. But on these big festival stages, you are 3-4 meters higher than the audience. You can see the whole crowd in front of you, and you can see the movements and while the people are dancing. It's just like, yeah, it makes you. I don't know the English word at the moment. It makes you süchtig. It's in German. It gives you.
Justy.
Yeah,
Yeah, I can feel what that word is.
Yeah.
I probably would shit myself.
yeah. So let's come to the next record.
Yeah, what have you got next for us?
I prepared some classics. You have these days this trend. It's called Afro House, and Afro House is played everywhere here and there. But one of the big stars from the Afro House originals is from South Africa. He's called Youth Masakela,
Yes.
and he created the track in 1981. It's called "Was Don't Gonna Lose a Baby." It was with Afro elements, with nice vocals, not Afro vocals, but this was one of the guys who was famous for Afro.
Cool, let's give it a listen. Viewers on the app, have a look. Godfather of Techno has introduced us to the first Afro House track. This is Hugh
81.
From 1981.
Yeah, 44 years old first Afro House.
Amazing. Such a good vibe. This will go down well anyway. I can imagine it's being dropped in Pike somewhere. Are we going to play this one tomorrow?
Yes. If you want to, I can play it. I have so much records with me, but if you want, it's cool. This vibe is nice. So, we just were talking about, techno and my first techno production with Ramon together, and this was under names Interactive Phenomania, who is Elvis. So they were the start. And then in 1992, I created my first record under my own name, which was huge in Belgium and Netherlands and Germany. It was quite good. It was a mixture between house and techno. You can't really say it was. We had techno mixes later, remixes, but I think this one has a mixture between. Back then, the techno was techno. There was techno with house elements, but it was techno with just pure techno. But the genres haven't been cleared yet in 1991 when we produced that. So in 92 when it was released, it also was released on the famous Belgium R&S Records label by Renard van Dispier. But we have a listen now to many people sampled my voice out of this track, so we have to play it from the beginning. And so let's have a listen to that one.
Energy, flow, eternal.
Flow Eternal by JENS LISSAT. First release under his own name on beautiful green vinyl.
Energy, flow, eternal. Energy, flow, eternal. Energy, flow,
It actually is him.
eternal. Energy,
This could actually be like one of the very first tech house tracks ever made.
Yeah, this is, yeah, if you can say it, maybe this is one of the first tech house tracks.
You're such a pioneer,
So
bro.
we had Afro house, now we have tech house.
We're just pioneer.
Yeah.
You've been setting standards for music all of your life, bro. This is incredible. Do you have a favourite record?
Of course, I have favorite records, but there are so many. But you know, of course, you know, in the years they have been in the disco period. Of course, there was Donna Summer's "I Feel Love" and especially the Patrick Hawley Mega Mix, the 15, 50 minutes and 43 seconds. You know, it was crazy. You know, because the Donna Summer, the "I Feel Love," for example, it was originally released in 1977. It got this mega mix, which was only as a bootleg first, and 10 copies were around from Patrick Hawley himself. They were called acetates. So this is self-pressed, you know, records. And then there was a subscription service called DiscoNet. And DiscoNet, you know, you could subscribe for $400 a year. This was 2 records every month, like mixed records or re-edits or remixes or whatever. And but in the first years in '77, there were only mixed records. You know, from a DJ, like 4 tracks mixed into 90 minutes. And then in 1980, I discovered these DiscoNet records, and I made a subscription, which was really super expensive. To make this long story short, this mega mix was released on DiscoNet. There were only 1,000 copies in the world. And when I had my first, one of the first DJ jobs in 1981, when I was 17, I played this record in this famous Hamburg club, and a guy came, "Hey, this record is so cool, I want to have it." And I said, "You can buy it for 1,000 German marks." So next week I bring you the money. And then the next record really came with 1,000. You know, we had with 1,000 German marks the bill.
Serious?
It was a bill. Yeah, we bought it. This was crazy. And what I did, you know that then I sold the records for 1,000 marks, and the Monday I called in New York City in the evening German time. "Hello, I'm JENS LISSAT. I'm a subscriber. My record from Donna Summer, the Mega Mix, the Volume 3, has a scratch, it's broken. I can't play it." "Yeah, we're gonna send you a new one." Okay. Really, they sent me a new record, and this was the highest price record I ever sold. You know, this was the disco story. Yeah.
What's 1,000 German marks in these days in euros? I guess.
1,000 German marks is about 600 euros.
Wow.
Yeah,
Cool.
it was so crazy.
And you had to. Brilliant. So that was your most expensive record. Do you have a most valuable record?
Well, I have some favorites, you know, some favorites. I have one of my all-time favorite, for example, is from the group First Choice, "Let No Man Put Us Under." You might know this with "It's not over between you and me. It's not over. I'm surprised to see your suitcase at the door. Remember the good times, don't you want some more?" It's famous a cappella. It was sampled all over in house music. But the original track, and especially the Frankie Knuckles mixes with the string intro, crazy.
Amazing.
Yeah, which is one of there are a lot of more, but this is one that comes to my head. Or Debbie Jacobs, "Don't You Want My Love?" Is this one by when you were selling at the vinyl store, at the vinyl market.
Oh yeah.
Debbie Jacobs, "Don't You Want My Love?" The 12-inch, one of my favorites. You know, good arrangement by Paul Sabu. And yes, there are a lot of good house music records, techno records, but you know, this from the heart, it's the heart music with the strings. You know, this is what I really love.
Yeah, with like real instruments.
Yeah, like back then, it was like which makes you emotional. Yeah, there are a lot of more, but these are for me special. You know.
Energy,
Amazing. Let's listen to this record. This is the
Energy
breakdown.
Flow, yeah.
Energy Flow.
And now we are coming to a special, very special bootleg version. And many of you maybe might know this. You know, it's the music is from Frankie Knuckles' track "Your Love," but the vocals you will soon hear. This was the original vocals inside sampled from the artist is Candy Staten. So let's have a look and listen.
Sometimes I feel like throwing my hands up in the air. I know.
It's so good. This is an absolute timeless classic.
Sometimes I feel like saying, Lord, I just don't care. But you got the love I need to see me through. Sometimes I
There's
see.
many copies of this particular record, but not many copies in this good a condition. Listen, there's no crackles or pops or anything.
Now and then I feel like life is just too much. You got the love I need to see me through. Sometimes I feel like throwing my hands up in the air. I know I can count on you. Sometimes I feel like saying, Lord, I just don't care. But you got the love I need to see me through. Sometimes it seems the going is just too rough, and things go wrong no matter what I do. Now and then I feel like
If you tuned in last week, 2 weeks ago on the show, I played the 2025 Luke Unabomber and Luke Solomon re-edit of this, which is a Spanish version, which is being played all over the island at the moment. It's so beautiful. An interesting story, in a very interesting coincidence and synchronicity, is that I was actually in the house of John Truelove a couple of months ago, a few months ago, and he was the guy that was responsible for having the idea after hearing this bootleg to record it and get it pressed and make it into the hit that it is. He's got records on his wall, platinum discs and all sorts. The original was Frankie Knuckles and JB Principle, right?
I can count on you, yeah.
Big shout out to LCG and Mono listening from the UK. How you doing, fellas?
On my way to work, confusing my mind. I tried to avoid it. Walking through the park, breathing yes, Smith. I look around and I see no hell.
Jens, tell us about this record.
Yes, this is what we just heard was Master C&J
Somebody
with Liz Torres. Face It is a very,
help
very, very deep
help.
Paradise Garage underground classic house music track. And it's a rare, not
Somebody.
rare, but it was quite rare. This is a double 12-inch release, and
Help.
really, for me, this is the dub house essence. You know when you know you hear energy house music like with all these drum machines and hip house and everything. But this was the cool, more awesome New York style house
Yeah.
music.
Yeah, good. So you spent a lot of time in New York then?
No. I just made. I just I wasn't at the garage. I was there at the Sound Factory. I was at 1018 was this club. I played at the Limelight in New York City. But this was the techno time, and I played at a very nice club. This was
You got me
crazy, by the
caught
way.
in a
There wasn't, when all the clubs closed, there was an after-hour club in New York City and down in
I
Queens
can't
called
run.
Save the Robots. And
Right.
this was really
And I
really
can't
small,
hide.
and that was like an after hour, when people were still,
Every night I go to bed,
On it.
Charlie, the Charlie crew. So
hearing your name.
yeah, it was really crazy times. Yeah,
I
New York
wake
was a hot spot back then. I also visited.
Pull on my
I remember
hair.
when there was a very
String
famous
by
music fair. It was called the New Music Seminar. It was a fair where the record labels and producers,
I
DJs,
have to
and
face it.
the administrators from labels went on in this fair. And that year, I remember they opened the Studio
Face it.
54, the location, for one night only. There was still no light show and so
Somebody.
nothing, but it was the location of the Studio 54, the original from the 70s. And that night they had Gail and
Help me,
da-da-dee-da-da. What's the artist from da-da-dee? She's homeless. Crystal
Maureen.
Waters. Crystal Waters performed there live that night, and I don't know which DJ was playing, but it was a feeling, this location, this old CBS theater, television studio with a balcony, and you kind of could have imagined how it was back then. It
must
was
be
like Sodom and
somebody.
Gomorrah, the Studio 54. It was like crazy, everywhere. Sex, drugs, and rock and roll, and sex and disco and rock and roll. So crazy times. This was my New York experience. Yeah.
Amazing. Wow. And if a German says that New York
Confusing
underground
my
parties are crazy, with what's going on in Germany these days, that we're here at Berghain and Panorama, then it
Of
must
course,
be.
yeah, these days, you can imagine, the Berghain, of course,
breathing your smell.
Okay.
And the Kit Kat Club, of course, this is even more, this is the craziest thing, I think,
I see no
yeah,
one.
it's like it's a S&M club, the Kit Kat Club parties,
Oh yeah, you played there?
I played there a couple of times, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They also tour around Germany. There's one guy called, I forgot the name now. He is managing, for example, in my home city now where I live, in Cologne in Germany. They are hosting these events once or twice a year.
Cool. Okay, so moving on.
So we are coming now to another classic, a famous house classic from Colonel Abrahams.
Oh man, brilliant. Hey Simone, thanks for that, much appreciated. This is Colonel Abrams, Music is the Answer dub version. Again, old music in pristine condition. This is really impressive. If you want to find out more about the Ibiza Vinyl Club, you can check us out on our website, ibizavinyl.club, or follow us on Instagram.
We need some unity. Bring together you and me.
On these platforms, we'll be posting our lineups for the summer, and this is a real summer of vinyl disco love. I've christened it 2025 the year of the disc, because we have got so much going on. Got over 30 gigs in the calendar so far, in between the middle of May, just gone. No, yeah, April we started actually, right the way up until the end of September. You can find us on a monthly vinyl market at Kumara's. We're back tomorrow from 7 p.m. multiple sellers, hundreds of vinyls to buy. And when you buy vinyl from the Ibiza Vinyl Club, aka Project Equilibrium, we send all of your money to our beneficiaries. A little project in Tanzania called Kisiwani Orphanage Care, where there are 35 orphans and vulnerable kids that we enhance the lives of by making kind donations so that the music goes even further than just being played out to the people on the party.
Full of energy. Take it over you, take it over me.
Joining Jens and I tomorrow is Simone Fougere, who is hot off the plane from New Zealand. Hiya, love. How you doing? Welcome back to Ibiza. Super excited to meet you tomorrow and to connect with you and Julio. Simone's going to be closing proceedings for about 10 p.m. Coming up next week on the 28th, the Vinyl Voyages, the Ibiza Vinyl Club, are at Cantar, Bistro Cantar in Santa Gertrudis. This is going to be a big one. Myself and Donna Samit are going to be on the decks, and we've got a special guest headliner that's going to be turning up. Part of the French crew. It's Jenna's birthday. Hi, Jenna. Hi, Manu. How you going? All our events are free to enter. All our events need reservations for the tables. At Kamara's you can't reserve, you just got to get down there early. But if you want a reservation for Bistro Cantar this Wednesday coming on the 28th, we kick off at 6 p.m. Please get in touch directly with the restaurant, Bistro Cantar. Cantar, singing. Following that, we break into June, and the next show on Ibiza Sonica Radio for Ibiza Vinyl Stories. It's a big honour for me to invite one of my bosom buddies of the Ibiza Vinyl movement, Ian Kennedy, aka Phototeca Music, into the studio. And then we got a big one, Tuesday the 10th of June. We have Vinyl Voyages opening at Cafe Del Mar. And an honour to work with so many DJs. I don't really call it work, I do call it work. It's a kind of Freudian slip, but it's play for me. I absolutely love it. Over 150 DJs have performed at our events in the past 9 years. You could be one of those too. If you're a vinyl DJ and you want to get spinning in Ibiza, give me a shout. 130 events in, 150 plus DJs. 30 events, more DJs coming, including, this is a nice one, Steve Cobby from Fila Brasilia is going to be joining us in Cafe Del Mar on the 10th of June. As well as brother Giacomo coming in from Berlin, our Italian bro Giacomo, aka Common Flaws, coming to spin for us for a second time next Tuesday, on Tuesday the 10th of June at Cafe Del Mar. And I may as well plug the next gig after that, which is the day afterwards at Cantar. It's myself and Carmen Insua. Hi, love. Buenas noches. Buenos dias. Oh, I recognise that sample.
The original track. This is a very famous super specific from Rockers Revenge. What we're gonna do tomorrow evening is we're walking on sunshine into the sundown.
I've got the Fatboy Slim sample. Dripping on sunshine. Pizza on one. I dropped that at Rocco. Wait, I dropped that at Rocco.
This is a 1919. This is 1982.
Yeah.
Original. This is a Hot Tracks remix here from this remix program service Hot Tracks.
Yeah, that's one of my favourite things about music is finding those samples and digging from where they came from.
Yeah.
I've got a really beautiful track from Ann Sexton on the way somewhere, which is a 45. I can't remember the sample that I heard it of. But preceding that, Quantic Soul Orchestra came through, a sample that was used recently in the last couple of years with Jimmy Jules, Pushing On.
Yeah.
I like to play the original.
I can give you a site where you can find all the if you have a record, it's a website called whosampled.com.
Who sampled? Yeah.
Whosampled.com. You type in the record, and then they show you which sample is sampled in that record.
Yes, I'm familiar with that. It's a very, very handy site. Okay, so what have we got here, gents?
This is John Rucker, the famous member of the band Freeze, which IOU also, and John Rucker was a producer, and he did a track called I Want It to Be Real. And this is the famous and very rare 12-inch with a Farley Hot House piano mix. This is really rare. If you want to buy this somewhere on Discogs, it's a couple of bucks you have to pay this one.
Yeah, let's for people on the app, streaming it live from the app, this is what it looks like. I'm astounded at how your records that you've had for so long are in such great condition. Like even records I've had for 5 minutes are a mess.
No, I always, when you pick out the record out of the cover, you have to really. I show you.
Okay, demonstration.
When you put something out, you just put it at the here, and then the rest is still okay.
Oh right, okay, yeah.
Listen to the song. Play for 1 minute, and we have a talk.
Whoa, even Carlos doesn't know this one. Mr. Music himself. This is incredible. Wow, this is a breakthrough. Check that piano out. Wow. We're nearing the end of our hour. Some big thanks that I want to say. Thank you from the bottom of my heart to Carlos Sense and to Miguel and the Ibiza Sonica crew for hosting this beautiful episode of Ibiza Vinyl Stories. Thank you, bro. Thank you, bro. I love you long time. Te amo mucho. Te aprecio. Got to say a big thanks again, as always, to Steffi from Technic. She provided the turntables, these beautiful 1210 Mark 7s here in the studio, and also kindly donated a pair to the Ibiza Vinyl Club so we can do our thing. Last year. Thank you, Steffi. We love you. Also, a big shout to Magma, DJ Bags and Accessories, who very, very kindly gifted us 4 bags to be playing with, which I'm going to be showcasing at the Kumara's Market tomorrow. So come and have a look. These DJ bags are exquisite. They're very high quality. They're super cool. And they're durable, they're hard wearing, they're going to be around for a long, long time. I'm going to try work out some discount for Ibiza Vinyl Club purchases. So come and check out the wares tomorrow. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Magma. I also want to say a thanks to our partners in crime, in rhyme these days. Ken Fan at Cafe Del Mar. Thank you, bro. Diego at Racco. Thank you, bro. Jenna and Manu at Kantar. Freddie at La La Land. And all the DJs, all the followers, all the family for making this Ibiza vinyl community so beautiful. If it wasn't for you, this wouldn't even exist. So you're as big a part as any of the people that I've mentioned before. I love you infinitely. You are my family, you're my brethren. This is an incredible journey that we're on, and I'm so grateful that you're all in it with me. I can't wait to see you down the front. Big shout outs to the Vinyl crew, Gomez in Barcelona, Calzoni in the UK, LCG in the UK. The chat has been hot. I've not read any of this today. There's so much fun in the studio. Mono's on, Donna Sammy, D. George listening in from Germany. Okay, last track, Jens. What's this?
This is called Mickey.
Mickey?
It's a Paul Simpson remix of the track. The artist is Mickey. Also a garage classic from the Larry Levan garage album. Yeah, so this is the final track. And I would say, it was really a nice session, and I'm really looking forward for tomorrow for the sundown session at Kumara's. I start at 8.
Yeah.
We there. We are warming up at 7, and there's some nice drinks, good music, dance a bit if you want to. Maybe we hear us soon for another stories. I can have more stories to tell.
You've got plenty of stories to tell. With a career spanning over 45 years, you've seen some things, you've done some things, and you've been a massive influence on the global house and techno scene and the funk and disco scene. Jens, thank you.
Yes.
From the bottom of my heart, bro.
Yeah.
This has been super cool to get to know
For
you.
more music soon then. All right, listen.
Yeah. This has been Ibiza Vinyl Stories by Ibiza Vinyl Club, hosted by yours truly, Mr. Peach. Thank you all for tuning in. I hope to see you down the front tomorrow at Kumara as we kick off at 7 p.m. More information, check out instagram.com/Ibiza Vinyl Club or ibizavinyl.club, our website. That's all from me. One last word from Jens. Would you like to say anything, Jens?
Yes, all right, hasta luego.
Excellent. Viva Vinilo.